Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this week's Building Power. I am your host, Sister Zakiya Sankara Jabbar, and welcome to this week's show. I am excited to welcome Brother Marcus Klein to our program today. When I think about building power and grassroots education advocacy, I feel like the brother is the definition of it, being the founder of an independent African-centered school. Brother Marcus, welcome to the program. Can you share a little bit more about yourself with the audience? I think you're on mute. Yeah, I can't hear you. I could hear you earlier. Still can't hear you. Talk now. Let me see if I can hear you. No, I can't hear you still. Have the audience be patient with us as we deal with these technical difficulties. Happens every now and then. You want to go out and try to come back in? See if that'll work? Yeah, let's try that. We're going to let the brother go out and come back in. Technical difficulties, sometimes that happen. But as you can see, he's actually in the middle of school right now. So I definitely don't want to keep him too long because he's actually doing the work, teaching our children. He's the founder of the Freedom Home Academy International. Is an independent African-centered school. And, you know, so he's been doing this independent school and African-centered education that we all theorize about, that we all talk about incessantly, but the brother is actually doing the work. So I'm really excited. Hopefully we can get these technical difficulties ironed out, because I just really want you all to hear you know, the process by how he got the school started. I believe he's based in Chicago, Illinois. So for people in Chicago, if you're familiar with him, you know, feel free to interact with us in the chat, put any questions you have for the brother in the chat. And so we'll get started as soon as we can figure out these technical difficulties. Let's see if we can
What about now? Is that better?
Oh yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
All good.
I just want to thank you for having me on first and foremost. I really appreciate that, because when we are acknowledged by our peers, those who actually understand the level of work that we must do, it's more appreciative than, you know, when someone, you know, invites me onto a show that really doesn't have a clue how important this job and this task really is. So I really appreciate that, sis. Secondly, I got to make a correction of. We own and operate 4 private schools in Chicago, not just one. We have
4.
a nursery school.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
We operate a nursery school here. African Genius, Chule. We operate that. We started that.
Okay.
In 2000. We started that in 2019. Then we also have School of Literacy, which is our preschool. We started that in 2014.
Okay.
And Freedom Home Academy, which is our flagship school. Of course, we started that, my wife and I, in 2008 in the basement of our house. We were able to produce some revolutionary scholars from that original group. One of them being my son, who's pre-med third year in Howard University at 16. So
wow.
Along with another group. Here's your assignment right here. Grab that. And in addition to that, you know, we have some other scholars too that I would be remiss if I didn't mention those too. Lahab and Nate and Tyrell, all those brothers who are doing excellent as they moved on from our school. And then we started the high school in 2000 and 19, because
Wow.
my son was graduating from 8th grade, and we drove around Chicago looking for schools. He said, driving back, he said, "Why don't you start your own?"
Wow.
And we did. He gave me an idea. So 3 months later, we opened up in Nkrumah International Academy, which is our high school.
And Nkrumah International Academy. All of these are based in Chicago?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we're right here on the south side. Yeah, right on the south side of Chicago. So,
Right.
of course, we're able to do that with the cooperation and the trust of our people. So, you know, there's always a condemnation of the so-called kindness community that we don't look out for each other, we don't help each other. But I wouldn't be around operating 125 full-time students in the building and another 80 online all over the planet if we didn't have that support. And it's ongoing. You know, they've entrusted me and my staff with the ability to not just teach culture, African Center School, but also accelerated math. We have a pre-medical program for 1st through 12th. We have a pre-law program for the same, entrepreneurship program. All these things that's vital to our survival. Not just being Africans, but being conscious Africans, fully aware that we're under attack. Don't come in here talking. Take a seat. The assignment's right here.
Working in the middle of working. Look at him doing it.
Gotta do it. Assignment's right here. Cool. So, but other than that, you know, we've been able to do it, like I said before, with the support, continued support of our community. You know, this is us. We're tuition based, no government money, no state money.
Fully independent. Absolutely. This is absolutely amazing. And this is something that I live in the DC region. And so there's so many Black parents, especially before really and after COVID and during COVID, that are sick and tired, you know, of the public school system. Our brother Samari Kamara call it the public food system.
That's right.
You know, and also other, you know, schooling options. And so independent Black schools is something that has come up a lot. And so I'm glad to really have you here. I want to kind of go back to the origin story. I love the fact that, like you said, you and your wife started in your basement. That's humble beginnings. That we start with what we have, right? Can you just share a little bit about sort of the start, any kind of I mean, we see like the successes that you've shared, but for people who may want to copy your blueprint, so to speak, in DC or in Atlanta or in wherever Black people are in large numbers, Prince George's County, Maryland, you know, what kind of advice would you give those folks? And do you have a blueprint that you either sell or do you
we do.
to people?
We do.
Okay,
Absolutely.
let's talk about that.
Yeah, we do. So what I do, I'll just address what should be done first, even outside of, you know, purchasing what we have, relative to creating from the ground up.
Right.
First thing you have to figure out, what do you want your children to do and to become, right? So once you figure that out, then you can better develop a program and a methodology of teaching those skills in order for them to get to that particular level. So we said, you know, when my son was even in the womb, my wife and I, we understood that being a doctor was first and foremost. Like, we wanted him to practice medicine because we understood that being holistic physicians in the day and time we live in is vital to our survival.
Right.
So based on that, we developed a curriculum. We piecemealed the curriculum together. So we knew mathematics and science would be the linchpin for that type of academic development. So we created a curriculum around that, and we built as an extension to that foreign languages, of course, mathematics, and other essential electives that's needed. So first and foremost is to create and answer the question, what do you want for your children, right? Being not as a collective, but your immediate children. What do you want for them? Then that would be a starting point. So, and we know the seven subjects of mastery. We know those: math, science, sociology, geography, African history. Those are the foundational subjects, and then we can build around that. But first, you create, you know, what you what your aspirations are for your child, and then we can build around that. Secondly, we do have a program because we started other schools in different locations.
Oh, okay.
We have, but due to COVID, we've had to consolidate and go online with those schools. So we wound up opening up in Chicago. I mean, in Detroit and Atlanta. And then
Nice.
we have a school being created in Ghana now. As well
In
as,
Ghana.
yeah, yeah. We bought
Amazing.
some acreage in 2019 in Accra. We haven't built yet, but we're in the process of building some on the lake acreage that we purchased, as well as in Tanzania and Dodoma. We have a sister who wound up moving there. We used to teach here, Sister Aramia. So she's building there, and it's going to
In
be
Tanzania?
Yes, ma'am.
That's like the fifth person. I mean, I don't know her personally, but I know people who moved there recently as well.
Yeah, yeah. You should plug me with those because we're trying to get
I
it.
will.
Yeah, we're trying to get it.
One of them is my cousin and his family. He has 6 children that he took over there just last July.
Where are they? In Dar es Salaam?
They are in Arusha, maybe something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We definitely need to connect. I would love to connect with those.
I'll connect y'all on Facebook. Yeah.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, y'all. But other than that, just trying to continue to build off of what we have now. I think sometimes, we get kind of bombarded with the day-to-days and we forget what the original plan was. The original plan was
so true
to continue to build. But sometimes again we get kind of bombarded with everything else that's happening, especially in Chicago. What I'm saying?
Right.
People here, so we kind of it's easy to get distracted. But at the end of it all, the future looks bright. The children are definitely, we say it all the time, but when we look at it on futuristic terms and from a nationalistic point of view, we can't build any type of nationhood without the development of our children.
That's right.
Academically and culturally. I would say academically first, because we have to have some type of understanding on what culture is in order to acquire it and to gravitate to it. So we have to have an academic foundation first, and then culture can be inculcated in that. It shouldn't be separate.
It shouldn't be separate, right?
To go on the same line, the same pathway as culture. And oftentimes, even when we were looking for a school before we built one, our son was 2, so we were looking for a school in Chicago. There's a lot of cultural solid schools, but we see anything academically, that would meet our expectations. So we had to build one. What I'm saying, learning Kiswahili and beating the drums. That's cool culturally because that gives us a mind elevation to culture, right, and attraction to culture. But academically, we didn't see it. Even now, I don't see our inabilities of sharing those academic pieces to our children that we've learned in school. Those doctors who wind up getting PhDs. It's been a problem with connecting that knowledge to our children.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those PhD parents, they bring their children to me. I don't have a PhD. You know what I mean? So, so if we were better, if we were doing better with that connectivity, those books that we read, making a connection with that information and feeding it to our children, we'll be better served with that. What I'm saying? But oftentimes, we always say that, man, I can't teach my own child. It's a problem. And even the internet has exposed that. It's exposed, learning online. Now the parents can better appreciate what the teachers do in the classroom and what the teachers aren't doing in the classroom on the conference.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, but overall, we're doing well. But there's always room for constant improvement. And we have to always, of course, be humble. There's only a few of us around, a few of us here that's doing independent schools. A lot of us have fallen to the wayside with charter schools, because they haven't been receiving the support,
the funding. Yeah, I talked to Hakeem Matabuti and his wife, I forget her African name, but Dr. Carol Lee,
Yeah.
spoke with her last year, and that was the reason they were independent in the 70s and
Yeah.
80s and 70s and 80s, but
And part of the 90s. Yeah. Part
right,
of the
and
90s
part
too.
of the 90s, and she
Yeah.
said because of they decided to go charter. So yeah, I'm familiar with that movement of a lot of the independent schools were kind of engulfed by the charter school movement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell
That's
me
right.
why you this tell me why. I think I know why, but I want the audience to hear it. Tell
Mhm.
me why you are fully independent.
Well, I think that, once we start, well, and I know, once we start to um, receive funds, first and foremost, those funds are attached to um, oversight. So when you receive funds from the government, they're going to always want to know things about your institution, things about you specifically, and they're not going to allow you to teach the things that you want to teach your children from an African nationalistic standpoint. There's always the civil rights studies, which is cool. There's definitely a place for that. But when we want to teach revolutionary studies, we want to teach about the Black Panther Party. We want to teach about African upheavals and revolutionaries. We want to teach about social political terms relative to the state, relative to racism. We want to start naming names in that education. We want to say we want all Africans to teach African children. We believe in Black love. We believe in revolutionary ideals. Those things are not supported by the state. So when you start,
Amen. As we can see with this whole movement against so-called CRT, which is not even taught in K through 12 schools anyway.
that's right, that's right. And in addition to that, I got a couple of public school students here with me right now, like looking at me right now, who when they go back to school, their schools in the fall, they're going to be forced to learn about homosexuality. They're going to be forced to learn about the LGBT. They're going to be forced to learn and teach and be taught sexual education, from the LGBT community in public schools. It's mandated already. 3 bathrooms in the school, all those things. I didn't want our schools and our institutions to be subject to that. So we decided long ago that we'll never go that route. Now, that's not a condemnation for brothers and sisters who decide to do that and go the charter route. I don't have any qualms with that. But for what we do, um, as long as we're alive, we'll never do that. And speaking of Washington, D.C., there's a strong African Center school in D.C. who also decided not to go that route. So it's brothers and sisters who.
Is that the Ujamaa school?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that it's a lot of us out here, um, and I think one of the problems that we're having is connectivity. But I am connected with some strong African Center schools here in the country and a couple internationally as well. So we're not the only ones who feel that this way. We're not alone in that regard. But we have
Being
to.
fully independent, meaning that you don't have to follow whatever the state mandates
Correct.
with curriculum, with
Right.
anything.
Right.
So there's literally no state oversight over what you do at all.
It's not. It's not. However, there are some local and city rules and regulations that I must abide by
Okay.
in order to maintain a license to operate a business. Right.
Okay. Oh, operating a business. Okay.
But that has nothing to do with educational oversight.
Right.
That has everything to do with the fire department, the health department,
Got it.
and paying city license fees, things of that nature. But to answer your question, no, academic wise. Now, if you want to become accredited, you have to go to accrediting agency, which isn't governmental, but it's private. So even if you want to usurp all governmental, local, and state and federal rules, you can do that as a private school. But in order to get accredited, You have to go through different agencies. There's a major agency that accredits private schools. So if it's brothers and sisters who are interested in, that information, they definitely can reach out to me, because we have a lawyer who handles all that. And they have to, we have to, meet with those attorneys, quite often, almost twice a year, just to
Okay.
get updates, and some things, especially during COVID, because there's some COVID regulations that we had to
Right.
abide by too,
Right.
being a private and independent institution. Sanitation wise,
Of course.
they minimize the number of students I could have in the building at one time, things of that nature.
Right.
But for those parents and brothers and sisters who just interested in opening private schools, it can be done. It definitely can be done. You don't necessarily need federal funding to do it. We was on Boyce Watkins last year. Some friends of mine always laugh because they think it's impossible. We was on Boyce, and Boyce asked me, how much does it cost to open up a school? I said $5,000. So
he said, how much does it cost?
$5,000.
$5,000.
Open school though, and those are numbers that we use. My background is business, so I went to Rutgers. So the friends of mine that I went to school with, they say, that business model, that business model never worked, but it does, because the brothers and sisters that we have around us, they have the same fervor and interest in creating our revolutionary scholars as I do. So when we hire those people, they have to be, like-minded, and
so
have
the
that love.
teachers that you hire have to be like-minded into African nationalism.
They have to be, and there are some things that I waver on, there's some rigidity in the program, but overall, some things I won't,
I understand.
I
mean, it's your business.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate, because I actually charging for something that should be free. So until we find that, that medium where I can do it for free, I would love to, because there's some students that need to be here that can't afford it.
That's my next question. So the students at your school, because it is private and it is tuition based, are most of those children from middle class Black families?
They are. Yeah.
I figured that.
Yeah, they are. And surprisingly enough, I would say a little under 40, maybe 45, 50% of the parents here are not what you and I will consider be conscious. You know what I'm saying? Those parents who actually come for academics, and then after 2 or 3 months in, they get acclimated to the culture. They hear their children talking about Garvey and Malcolm and Cabral, and they say, wow, what is this? So they start reading too.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So even the diet, the dietary supplements that we put on the children, the restrictions, no meat, dairy, sugar, we have those problems. Like one of the brothers, somebody got some sugar in a book bag right now, I bet. They'll have to shake them down. Book bag right now. And I would say, it's a problem, with the food.
Sure.
We look at it as kind of menial, but when we really break it down and do the science on it,
so you serve a vegan diet at the school?
We do, and all the students aren't vegan, vegetarian though. Like homeboy, you had his pork chop this morning, didn't you? You said what?
Oh my goodness.
He said he allergic to pork. He should be.
Yeah, all right. Me too, brother. Me too.
He should be. But yeah,
So you even see the change in the parents.
Yeah, we see. Yeah,
that's the so-called 2-generation model that other groups have been talking about, like the parents and the child, and here you are doing it. That's amazing.
Well, I think one of my mentors, or I should say, my Jagnas, Brother Baruti down in Atlanta.
Yeah,
he does an excellent job with that. I don't do a good job, because I think at 52, my patience is wearing thin with the parents.
You 52? Woo, brother, you don't look more than 35.
Thank you.
Yeah, wow.
Thank you. But I think too, at the same time, the parents who are interested in, that connection with the information and the actual logic, those students do better when they see their parents are now reading some of the books that's kind of aligned with what Barbara Marcus is reading. Those students become more interested. And that's just a natural progression. You want to do what your parents are doing. So your parents eat meat, you eat meat too, until something or someone, shows you the alternative. So
Right.
we decided to do a pre-med program. So the pre-med program is for, first grade and up. So right now we're learning about, hey man, what you learned today in pre-med class. Come over here. Don't be shy now. It's one of my superstar students right here. This is Chuck Charles.
Hi, Chuck. Tell us what you're learning.
I was learning
You can take the mask down.
I was learning about electrolytes.
How many electrolytes do you know about?
4.
What are they?
Sodium, calcium, magnesium, and potassium.
Okay, good.
Wow.
So what are 2 types of electrolytes?
Cations and anions.
Okay, good. And we was talking about potassium today, right?
Yes.
Okay. Name some foods that is high in potassium.
Sweet potatoes and
Bananas.
and
Bananas too.
Bananas.
Yeah. I did know that one.
Yeah. So we talked about those electrolytes. Most of them are found where in your body?
Most of them are found in your stomach.
Stomach, or called your gastro what? Gastrointestinal. Good. So when your potassium goes up too high, what's the average amount? What's the average number of potassium that's in your blood?
3.5 to 5. 3.5 to 5.
Mm-hmm. What? You can look at the board. MEQ.
Milliequivalent per liter.
Okay, milliequivalent per liter. Okay, good. So if you go over that amount, what do you have?
Hyperkalemia.
Good. So if you go below that amount, you have what?
Hypokalemia.
Okay, good. Good job. You take
That's amazing. How old is the young man? How old are the students that you're teaching this to?
He says he's 18. Now, how old are you, Chuck? He's 9.
9. So tell me more about your curriculum. So you do preschool all the way through high school. So your preschool curriculum, what do you tell me a little bit about that? Because it seems like you don't necessarily like baby the children and you're too young to learn this. Wait till you get to 10th grade to learn about all of this. I'm interested in your approach to the curriculum and how advanced your students are.
Well, the approach is expansive. So of course, when we teach medicine, they learn medicine. They learn the same information, just broken down slightly that my 1st, 2nd, and 3rd graders do. So in the preschool, they learn math, from an African center. They learn about Imhotep. They learn that the original mathematicians were African. They learn about the Moors. All those things are important because they need a foundational reference, right? That reference is twofold. They learn it from an African, us, and they learn that it was Africans who built civilization. Period. That's the foundation. So when they get into the school of literacy, the preschool, not only do they learn that, they have to also learn our codes of culture, right? So they have to recite these codes. We love Black brothers and sisters. We love ourselves. We are African. And the reason why we put emphasis on that is because when they go outside, they have a healthy dose of the opposite.
You've inoculated them almost for this anti-Black racist ass society. That's amazing.
Right. That's right. And we have to, what I'm saying? Sometimes, they feel like
I'm ready to move to Chicago and put my kids in that school.
But look, all of them don't like it. Like, it's rough. Like,
I know it's rough.
Right now, like, they ready to go home.
That's what they need.
It's work, and it's work. So I'll just give you a quick example.
You old school, man. You remind me of my grandmother. That's all she talked about. Work, work, work. She did not believe in sleeping past 6 a.m. Like, come on, man.
So my son, right, he goes to Howard. He goes to Howard at 16. Now at 15, he could have went. So I told him to stay an extra year. So he went at 16. So he goes to school, gives me a call. He say, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" So I say, "Yeah, what's up?" He said, I want to thank you because now I know why you did what you did, right?
Wow.
So all those years that he spent in front of me, since he was 4, all the way till he left, it took him to leave and to take those skills that not just me, but he had other instructors too
He probably running
that helped
circles
him throughout
around
the
those
way.
other students.
He said, I understand. I get it now. I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. So that was the payoff, So he's teaching classes now. You like Agobin as a teacher?
So this is a summer school program currently that you're doing, because you mentioned that some of the students are going back to public school in the fall.
Right. So we don't have a separate summer. We have a separate summer program. So we're year round. So
Year round?
Yeah,
Wow.
we only have 6 breaks out the year. We got 3 weeks coming up. They real excited about the 3 weeks coming up. But usually parents that go to public school, they send them for our summer quarter. They just drop them in. But we don't have a summer program. It's just a continuation of our spring. But some of them.
How much is the school? 10,000 a year?
7. Yeah.
Wow, that's real doable.
Yeah, 7,200 a year.
7,200 a year.
So it's 600 a month. The nursery school is a little higher. Nursery school is 7.
Sure, there's more work.
Yeah. But yeah, we got what you got? You done? Okay.
7,200. That is so doable.
Yeah.
So when you get to primary school, the foundation I know is African Center, which I love. That's amazing. In terms of the academics, I know you said that the curriculum is expansive. What kind of things, for example, I have a budding second grader. She is 7. She'll be attending second grade when school starts in the fall. What would you be teaching her?
Hey, go over there and get homeboy. What's your brother name? Go get your brother. I got a first grader right now. So what we do, I'm gonna bring him to you. This is what we did in class today.
Okay.
Umar too. Bring Umar too. So that's first and second grade. We're assessment based. So when they come in,
you said assessment based?
Assessment, yes, ma'am. So we give them assessment based on where they are. So our classrooms aren't based on age; they're based on ability. So we have a criteria that they must meet in order to go to the next grade or the next group. So we're grouped together. So our first and second graders are together. That's our Mali group. Our third and fourth are together. 5th and 6th, 7th and 8th, and all the high schools are together, 9 through 12, right? So when they come in, for instance, you come in with your second grade, you say, well, he's how old are you in the second grade? 8, 7?
7.
7. So you say he's 7. Stand right here, I'm coming to you. So you say he's 7. I have to give him an assessment for our Mali group. That second grade is the final grade for that group. I give him a math assessment. If he does well in that assessment, that's the group I'll put him in. If he's not doing what the criteria allows him to do, he has to go to a different group. He'll probably go to the preschool. So it's not age equivalent, And the reason why that is, it's important that all schools should be assessment based, because if you're bringing a child in and teaching him, you say he's 9, okay, well, he's in the 3rd grade. What if he's not doing 3rd grade material?
Right, work, right.
So he's coming in behind. Or what about the converse? What if he knows his double-digit multiplication and you put him in a class that's doing double-digit adding? He's bored, right?
Right.
So you have to start that child where he is, and the reason why they don't do it on a larger scale assessments, is because it takes work. Now you may have 2 groups in one class. So what is that saying? What you need? Okay. So now you have 2 groups in one class, right? So that's more work for the instructor.
Right.
So they like, nah, we ain't doing it. We're gonna put everybody in the same group, throw everybody in the same pot, and whoever crawls out the pot fastest, those are the excellent ones. And usually it's maybe 1 or 2. Remaining students don't do well because most of them are behind.
Yeah.
And oftentimes they have to dumb down the lesson plan in the middle of the semester. So we don't have to do that. So I got a couple of my first graders right here. I think Umar, how old are you? Oh, he's 9. So he'll be going to the leaving out of 2nd grade. But this is what we did in class today. Slide over. Who else I help you do this? So I showed him how to do this problem right here. Get the count right. You're gonna do this one. 237 times 12. You can do that? Yeah. Show him today. He's a quick learner.
Multiplication in second grade? Wow.
Yeah, he's a quick learner. Mm-hmm. 7, right? He has 2 older brothers here too. Okay. Good. Now what you gonna do? We talked about the shift, right? Yeah. There you go. Nope, 0. That's cool. Don't worry about it. 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah. I just show him this today, though. Imagine what he's gonna be like when we come back in September.
Wow.
That's cool. So yeah, boom, right there. 3. Yeah.
Yep. And then you add it. Wow.
Good. Now you add them up, right? Good. Good. Uh-huh. You see your brother up here, man? Good. 2,844. Good job, Chief.
Good job.
There you go. Y'all can go back. I want to show that real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And he has a sister. And I always talk to parents too about siblings. When the siblings are here, right? The older sibling, they start seeing their older sibling do work at home. The next one that comes up, dangerous.
It's a competition. Yeah.
It is. And they compete all day, every day. It's a girl and a boy. Her name is Asada.
My daughter's name is Asada.
Yeah. Named after the revolutionary Asada Shakur.
That's right. My daughter is.
They learn about Asada Shakur at school too. Now I guarantee you, they won't know anything about Asada Shakur at the public school.
No, nothing about Asada. Right. In the public school.
Matter of fact, that'd be a bad word.
That'd be a bad word. Exactly.
The state looks at Asada as public enemy number 1.
That's right. Literally. Yeah. Put a $2 million bounty on her head under Obama.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a couple questions I'm going to get to from the chat here in a minute. When your children go back, some of them, for whatever reason, their parents can't afford it anymore or whatever. When they go back to public school or whatever charter school or whatever school that they go to, I imagine those children are ahead of other children that are their same age. Do you have that happen as well?
They are. And you know what? What's interesting, because we just started keeping stats on those. Because one of my instructors say, Bob Mars, we should start.
You need to keep that.
Tracking. We should start tracking those students. And we did. Little under 5 years ago. So we've been keeping the numbers. 75% of those students return. Right?
I bet you they do. They come up with their money, don't they?
Yeah.
They prioritize their children's education. Exactly.
They come back. Matter of fact, the little brother that you just saw, Chuck, right? His mom pulled him out. He has a sister. They pulled him out, 2 years ago? Went to a public school, right? The same problem you just saw the little brother do on the board. I taught Charles to do that same problem 4 years ago, right?
Right.
He came back this summer from his public school. He forgot. Did we talk about that?
Because they're not teaching. Yeah.
So when we talk to parents about the possible trajectory, right?
Yeah.
The trajectory of you losing what you learned.
Yeah.
And the trajectory of you building off what you learned and continuing going up. The word prioritize is an understatement.
Man.
We have to go get it. Even if you don't like Bob Marcus, right? Bob Marcus is too arrogant. Bob Marcus is this and that, right? Because we get that too, right? So I'm going to go ahead. I want to bring him back, but I don't want to eat crow and admit I was wrong. So I'm going to leave my child at this school, at the public school he's at. He's losing.
Losing, yeah.
I met a sister yesterday, sis. I had this brother when we was in our basement. His name was Yusef, right? I ain't seen him about 10 years. Hey, how you doing? How's your brother doing? Say he ain't doing well.
Yeah.
11 years ago, she said I shouldn't have took him out.
Right.
Took him to a public school. I said, so what are you doing now? He 18 now, got to get his GED.
Damn.
See what happened is it's more than just academics.
Yeah.
We used to go over houses. We used to pick children up from the house. We used
Yeah.
to take children home, get them on Saturdays. Parents call us, my son need this. It's more than just academics with us,
Yeah.
right? You actually lose a father figure when you leave.
For some of the kids who don't have fathers at home.
And
Yeah.
some of them that do.
Wow.
I had a brother tell me,
Damn.
I'm leaving.
Uh-oh, did we lose you?
I'm leaving the school because I'm tired of my son keep talking about Baba Marcus.
Wow.
And we had that too. And it's not just
Jealousy.
me. We got other brothers here too that's strong influence on the children. A lot of parents don't like that. So they take
Really?
them to
That is so
Catholic
weird.
schools. Yeah. But you see everything. If when you do what we do, you see it all.
Mm.
you exposed to some real interesting dynamics, you know.
I can imagine. I'm black. I know how it is.
Yeah, y'all
Yeah.
can, so
Mental side. Y'all talk about Bobby Wright, psychology.
Oh, what? From Chicago.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, Bobby Wright, we talk about, well, right now, no, in the spring, we've been going over France Fanon, Red to the Earth.
Yeah.
So we talk about
people don't read that to graduate school sometimes.
Yeah, we're reading it right now. Matter of fact, they're doing a report. They're doing a report on we took one phrase, put it right there. We took one phrase from Wretched, right? Hey, come here. What phrase from Rest of the Earth we doing a report on right now? Take the mask down so they get it.
We're doing economic inequalities based on racial standards.
Right. So we read France Fanon right now. So we
Thank
talk
you.
about, yeah, you can bounce. So we talk about psychiatry. Who we got? We got Carol Barnes. We got Dr. Franz Crush Welsing.
Yes.
We got Bobby Wright, late great Bobby Wright. Who I say? Carol Barnes, right? Bobby Wright, and Franz Fanon, right? In the field of psychiatry. So all those are important. Matter of fact, I mean, how can you understand the racial, social dynamic? Oh, and of course, Dr. Amos Wilson.
Of course, cannot leave him out. Right.
There are no African-centered schools that don't have at least two of those four.
Right.
As mainstays in their library and being articulated properly to the children.
Right.
We have to, Dr. Arima Ani, of course, with Yurugu. And,
yes.
Yeah, all those materials.
Yurugu is a I want to say it's a difficult read. It's just,
no, you can say that.
Okay,
it's
yeah.
very clinical.
It is. It's very.
Yeah, it was adult before I actually understood. I read it in college. I had to reread it.
I bet.
Clinical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
she gets into it.
Yeah, we have the library. So the children, we crack it. But see, what I do is we're reading for the smaller children, we read chapters. We'll stretch out an entire chapter over a 6 and 12 week quarter. We'll just break down a chapter. So we're doing On Violence. That's the second chapter of France Fanon. It's called On Violence. So we read for the smaller children, this entire chapter. So we teach reading, African history, and a scaffold. So when we read a chapter, and of course, France Fanon talks about Algeria. So we learn about Algeria at the same time. Right. We know the capital of Algeria. We know the first president of Algeria. So we scaffold it. So we can stretch it out. So the children will have a broader view of the information as opposed to a more of a narrow view. If we're just talking about, psychiatry, psychodynamics of violence, things of that nature, we can talk about a lot now. Geography of the country, languages of the country, of course, French. So we can do a lot. So that scaffold method, it gives us the benefit of learning more than just that one topic. The old school teachers call it cross curriculum. Right. But we do a scaffold, so we build on top of the information that we learned previously.
Yeah, that's amazing. Let me get to some of the questions in the chat. One of the questions is from a brother called Ricky Harris. He wants to know, do you think we also need to teach our kids about entrepreneurship to combat racism in the medical field? He said, just asking. Thanks.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the entrepreneurship piece is integral. Why? Because we've been told when I was a child, you got to go to college, got to go to
Mhm.
college, got to go to college.
Right,
It's not built for everyone, right?
right.
So we have to have a three-pronged method. First, vocation. We teach brothers electrical, plumbing, how to build houses, and agriculture, right?
Wow.
The second, yep, we do. Right outside on the next door to us, we have an agricultural piece where they're growing food and selling it, right? The entrepreneurship program that we have also is business law. They learn business law, how to create LLCs, how to create LLCs alternatives, investments, insurance as an investment, all that. That's in the business law. So they take
Wow.
that into real estate. Their final project in June, we had two brothers who bought land. They bought land in Gary, right? And they presented the project to the parents at our expo, right? What they're going to do with the land, what they're going to do with the investment money. So on top of that, we had to have the children build a Black Panther Party program. So you had to choose one. They chose, a lot of them chose the breakfast program or whatever. It was 16. We wanted them to choose a program that they were going to adopt and use with their money that they made from their business, right? So
Right.
they had to present that to the parents, because it's a lot of programs now, how to teach your child to be a millionaire and all that. That's whack, because if you teaching a shorty off the block has no culture, no knowledge of who he is, he's gonna take that same money you taught him to make, and he's gonna give it right back to the Korean, the European. So
Right.
So to answer the brother's question, entrepreneurship is vital for our survival, right? But it has to be rooted in culture. If they don't know who they are, if they don't know what to do with that money, it's going to perpetuate status quo, and we're going to be back in the same spot we were 10, 15 years ago. So the entrepreneurship is great. We do it. They make T-shirts in the back. We got T-shirts. They print them up, build a company, sell them, make the money. What we're going to do with that money, though, right? So entrepreneurship, vocation, and college. So if they want to do any of those three, it's all cultivated right here. We can do it.
And so do you have like different tracks for students? At what point do they choose, for instance, those three offerings that you have? Because I imagine those are older students, maybe middle school and above, that are doing that. Okay.
They do. So we have meetings with parents. We have trajectory meetings with parents. And if it's things that I see in the child that I think needs to be cultured and developed and incubated, if we agree, we move them. And we start
Nice.
centering our attention on either mathematics, sciences or whatever. And then we start, helping out with programs outside of school, enrichment program, things of that nature. So to answer your question, it's 4th grade, 5th grade. We can kind of see what they've gravitated to, what I'm saying? So, we take it from there. But the parents, those parents that on my line all the time, Bob Marcus, what you think about this? Bob Marcus, I like that, because the ideas, we could take those ideas and build others. And once we build others, those others can take the ideas and continue to build. So ideas are great. Those parents that, pretty much stagnant, that I always got to pull them. Come on, we got to come in. Come on, talk. Those students don't do as well.
Wow.
But yeah, entrepreneurship with culture, children like that because they making money.
Right.
Yeah.
And they get the chance to keep their money.
That's right.
And you teach them different ways. I know you said investments and real estate. So you teach them in buying land and things. You teach them ways to help them grow their money.
Absolutely.
That's next level.
The brother that I just talked to, Nasir, he got his father to give him an IRA. So he got an early IRA retirement account already.
Yeah.
He's only 12.
I'm starting one for my son this year. You can do it at 14. Longest.
That's right.
Yeah. That's right. I'm looking into that too. Yeah.
That's right. And you also can use insurance as well. You know,
Right.
they have insurance policies that you can get. They have they call them I-20s and I-30s. So you get insurance policies for 20 years as a cutoff, and you can use that as your retirement as well. You know, and they're bringing, you know, it's indexed, so it's based on the market. So they're bringing like 4.5%, 5%. So I'm telling the children, if a savings account is 0.3%,
Right.
which is half of a penny,
Right.
why don't you take your money out of a savings account and put it in, if it's
Yeah.
not a Roth,
An
some
IRA
type of
for
high
Roth.
yielding
Yeah.
investment, right? So
Yeah.
we learned that at the school, and they like that.
That's
For business
amazing.
law class, they own that. They
Right.
own it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so critical. So you have students in the summer. What's your summer hours? Or
Some
your
miles out of Saints. You know, we our doors open at 7:30. Classes start at 9 a.m. We're done at 3 because we got a shorter time because of COVID. We were going till 6. So they was getting out of here like falling out, so tired. But now we go to 3 o'clock, Monday through Friday. We're about to start our Saturday program back up. We just got an extension. We got another building. I signed the lease in 2 months, but we right down the hall. It's going to be athletic center. I'm losing parents because they have NBA aspirations, right?
Lord have mercy.
We got a gym now. So I ain't going to have no excuse. They staying all the way now. So,
Yeah.
so next time you talk to me next year, you know, we have the Klein Athletic Center, and we'll be doing jiu-jitsu, boxing, basketball, wrestling, indoor soccer, baseball, tunnel. We have all that right next door. 27,000 square feet. So,
Wow.
yeah, we expanded to get the sports in too.
How many teachers do you have? That was another question from the chat.
19.
19. And is that just in Chicago? Because I know you have some online classes in the other places where you were going to have indoor teaching, but unfortunately COVID pushed that online.
Yeah. So we have, I think we have 6. We have 6 online instructors.
Okay.
That's not in Chicago, but we had 19 that's right here with me right now. So those are part-time and full-time.
Wow.
So and out of 19, I think 12 of those are men. So brothers aren't here.
That's total opposite from the regular school system. They have completely pushed brothers out of teaching in regular schools. Yeah. It's like 1%. It's nuts.
Yeah. That's why we need to start our own. See, when we start our own school. So what's the main issue with the brothers I talk to? It's like, man, brothers, it don't pay enough. Teachers don't pay enough, right? I said, all right, cool. Start your own school. Now you can dictate how much money you get. Right. So if you want that 6-figure income, you can do it. You can do a 6-figure income operating a school. You can do it independent. So go ahead and get out there and do it. So
they see how hard it is. They see the hard work to cultivate and get the parents to trust them. But because you've been doing this so long, word of mouth is probably how you get your parents, right?
It is.
Word of mouth.
And 75% of all the students, they're either siblings or cousins.
Yeah,
they know.
I have my family down in Atlanta. They're pretty middle class. My cousin, he's an engineer. That's the one that's related to me by blood, and his wife works at the CDC, and they're paying $10,000 a year now for their 6-year-old at Imhotep.
Down there at Imhotep, right? And see, here's the thing too. I'm glad you mentioned that, right?
Yeah,
we want to touch on this too. So when the parents, they say, okay, I'm going to take my child to Poe. Poe is one of the quote unquote better classical schools in the city, elementary, right?
Poe, okay, in Chicago, that's a public school, and that's where everybody's trying to get in. Okay,
Edgar Allan Poe, right? So the parents are like, okay, cool. I don't want to take my child to Bob Marcus School or Freedom Home Academy because it's not esteemed, you know. When I go to my social club and I tell my social friends that I go to a Poe, they would say, "Oh, great choice," right? But when I tell them I'm taking the Freedom Home Academy, they say, "Oh, that's a pro-black school," right? But what they fail to realize is our 1st and 2nd graders can go right in that school and stand in the 5th and 6th grade class.
Damn.
And get that work in, right? And we stand head and shoulders above those schools all the time. So now what the parents are doing now is they're saying, okay, I think that is a good idea. So your cousin that's taking MOTEP, they saying that's a good idea because academically, they come here because of academic. They don't come here.
Yeah, that's what
That
they
group,
doing. Like
they
they
don't come
not
here for the
necessarily
culture.
like me as far as
Nah,
like pro-black
right.
consciousness. I
Exactly.
mean, they you know, they cool, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But I'll say my cousin who's actually related to me, the man,
Mhm.
he's more so, you know, on that than I think that his wife is, but it was her decision. I actually told them about the schools. I was like, man, that's because they were frustrated, you
Yeah,
know, with the preschool situation, and then with the older child that they had, they were really frustrated, and they knew that this is what I do, you know, in terms of education advocacy.
yeah.
And I said, man, y'all crazy. It's all kind of African center schools in Atlanta,
It
man.
is.
I told them about Imhotep. I told them about Baba Baruti School. I told them
Yeah,
about Baba Wakesa School. I
yeah,
told them I said, this is Atlanta.
yeah.
Y'all, please. It ain't like y'all in Ohio. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? So
right.
when she really looked into it, it was the academics that sold her. She said, "Oh, their kids are two grades ahead of the public school, so
Right,
I'm
right.
gonna pay this $10,000 a
That's
year."
right.
That's right, and so
That's right.
that's where my little niece is going.
That's good. Well, I got to sign off. I got to serve lunch.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go, brother. This was great. I
Yeah,
really appreciate it. I got to bring you back for sure. You're doing
absolutely.
amazing work. Before you leave, how can people support the school? How can those of us who may not be able to have our children there, is there a way to donate to support the education of the children?
Absolutely. I don't even like donations because what we did was we published a magazine too. So we
Okay.
didn't get to that, but I published a magazine before I started the school. I published Frontline for like a little over 15 years. So
Okay.
we still publish Frontline magazine. So the parents, so people, brothers and sisters who want to support the school, they can get a subscription to our magazine, which actually funds our other projects, school being one of them. We
Okay.
open up a restaurant soon as well. I told you about the new edition that we're opening down the street. So all these different projects, the parents and people who are interested can go right to our website. That's freedomhomeacademyinternational.net. And they can look at all our programs and they can figure out which ones they like to support. As
Okay.
opposed to donating, you get something back, right?
Right.
So you put in for a subscription and you support the magazine. You want to support the school, you can do that too. We sell T-shirts and we sell merchandise because I don't really like to ask without giving something, right?
I
So
feel that.
we have a lot of different products that I really would like the brothers and sisters who are interested to support. So Freedom Home Academy International, you can get us all on the different social media platforms at Facebook, Freedom Home Academy International. All four of our schools, you support all four of the schools, not just one, right? So phone number is 312-206-5161. They can go online again, freedomhomeacademyinternational.net, schoolliteracy.net, incrementinternational.org. My name is Marcus Klein. You can look me up. You can Google me. Support what we do. Other schools out here too, like you mentioned. Imhotep Academy. We got
Ujama in DC.
got Ujama in DC. We got the brother in New York, in Brooklyn. Brother Q in Brooklyn. We got Baruti School in Atlanta.
Yep.
We got brother Amin School. Now he's in South Carolina, I believe.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a lot of us out here. Yeah, a lot of us
It's
out
a
here.
network of independent Black schools. Are you all kind of like in network with each other? I mean, you may not teach the same thing on the same level, but you
Right.
all know each other, are in network.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, we talk all the time. And it's funny how they look at me as a pioneer. I'm not. Like I look at other brothers as pioneering, trailblazing. I wouldn't even consider myself that. But what we do have the ability to do is communicate and network well and share the information. Share the information on how to teach, how to inject culture outside of schools, how to set up rites of passage programs. Because school to me, the building is just an incubator, right? When the children come in, they have to be injected with culture. And when we do that properly, they leave out and they start their own program. That's what we want. We want to see those. We want to see those students that graduate starting their schools. But we have to be the Jegnas. We have to be the mentors, if you will, because we have to continue this fight because we at war, sis, as you know.
Yeah, I know.
We are constant
Absolutely.
barrage of we talked about homosexuality, and we talked about the hate of being African, all those things, But at the end of it all, we out here, we doing well. As they say, well, we outside, we doing it,
Yeah.
We right here. So
okay, well, we appreciate you,
sis.
brother. Absolutely glad. I'm going to let you get back to those children because I know you teaching and you got to feed them and everything. But this was great. Definitely want to have you back on. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Take
Thank
good
you, sis.
care.
I appreciate
Peace.
it.